Hello there again, it's me, and as you can hear, the general cacophony of smashing and crashing and pounding and hammering has resumed. Actually, it resumed more like an hour ago, 7 a.m., waking me up from my delightful sleep. So I thought I'd try and actually do some work. Now, funny thing was, after all that business with becoming an administrator and everything, I ran the program, and this succeeded, and this succeeded, and the open policy, everything succeeded, and I still couldn't enumerate my rights. I thought, my God, maybe I've had this all wrong. Like, maybe I have to enable that, well, currently I've got it set to look up names, right? Maybe I have to enable, like, I have this privilege, but maybe I have to enable it. Maybe I got the order wrong. At first I got to actually have some privileges to enumerate, and then I can enumerate them. So I did that, and but I think I added this one instead. Okay, and okay, I figured, okay, well that's fine. And then went over to this thing, and I ran this. Now who am I now? I am major or minor? Minor. Gotta be major. And by the way, the set is different for that other major me. And I suppose my LUID, then check it. It's different. Now this enable. This tells us that one story, and the other one tells a different story. Now what I gotta do is undo what I did. Can I undo it? Great. I'm actually this is actually going to be the C+ in the C++ group as well, because I have the C++ thing to add to this. No, I don't have it. I'll have to figure it out again. Open the policy. First, I had everything, all access, and it granted it to the major Allen. Okay, succeeded. Now I didn't do this first. I went to enumerate the rights, and then I was going to add a privilege, not this one. Shutdown name, in fact. privilege. Yes, that's the old function. I'm such an unlucky person, I think. Not only the pounding and all that going on, the fact that my bank card got eaten by the machine in a foreign country with no cash. This had to come up. Now, I don't believe I even had this wrong. It would have been a trace. I wanted to have an on-off switch. Now I don't want an on-off switch, and that's what I wanted to show you. But first I wanted to show you the valence. I just have to make sure that it's the same thing. Okay, just add. I'm safe. Now let's see what happens. You see, I mean, there's LSA, of course, like I told you before, is a wrapper. The hell? Oh. F7 with a wrapper. What the? Oh, I do. Debug Unicode. Turn that off. Yeah, now it's going to get all mad. Something like that, huh? Oh, come on. See, I added this shutdown name. First I got nothing. I'm not looking. I'm trying to go as quick as I can. Otherwise I gotta pause the video. Come on. I know it doesn't take. What do you mean it doesn't take 3 hours? So there is no such function. Add. No. Add. Okay. I have a program that is compiled. Now, as I was saying, this thing is like kind of a wrapper around the kernel function. Okay, everything's going along great. Perfect. Got my thingy there. Right. Oh yeah. No. I added an autocomplete for that. Enumerate right. Well, the first time anyway, it failed. And the reason I think was that this session, I think these sessions stay alive forever. I mean, until a reboot. Is that once you enable these privileges, they remain enabled until you disable them explicitly, as long as the session's alive. So I thought, okay, well now what I want to do then is turn this one off, or turn one of them off. So I started doing that. I put a little bool here, on, off, and I know there's an add and there's a remove. If you got an add function, there's a remove regs, right? I don't want to remove them. I just want to disable them. You can't actually remove a reg. I don't know. It's a badly named function because it doesn't do what it says. And then I read the help on the remove one. Okay, there's nothing to this. Okay, handle, let's do it. Okay, some Boolean, yeah, user rights, etc. Number of rights. Blah blah blah. Alright. If true function removes all privileges and deletes the account. Okay. Now, some people might be brave, right, and just run a function like that has a 50% chance of destroying your computer. But I'm not one of those people, so there's no chance in hell that I'm ever going to run this function, at least with my account, right? Because I'm the only account on this machine, at least the only account that can log on. There's another crippled account that has no privileges, so I could try running it in that context. But still, that's just one flag, okay? And it removes the account. All you want to do is disable a right, a privilege, right? And what if I read this wrong? I'm always reading things wrong, and I get false and true mixed up or something, or a typo somehow. Maybe I'll put this here and that there, and somehow it's going to delete my account. So no way, right? I'm not going to call that. I'm going to use the non-LSA version, which is called adjust token privileges. Base function. Okay. Now this doesn't need any policy handles or anything, but it has a thing where you give it an array, and so that was what I wanted to get to. C++ thing. I've discovered something which I think probably you learn a person learns in programming kindergarten, but I never learned it. And I'd heard the word before, and it just never occurred to me what it was for. Yeah. So I thought, well, okay, it needs an array, and now I gotta go through, I got the three things, and for a while I've been thinking, I'd like to have a auto managing array class, right? So I started with the usual, I'm just going to nick it from MFC. So I started with this TS array, and just as I did with TS list, I went to the help file and looked up C array, and the member function. Okay, and part of it has to do with they set the size, they say, in such a way that to minimize heat fragmentation. So I went to look at the code to see, no, actually that's not what I searched for. Set size. I searched for set size. Something like that. And actually I ended up on the wrong function. I ended up on this dx array, whatever that is. And but anyway, it looks pretty good. It's, okay, so there's a thing for construct and destruct. I'm going to rewrite these. And then it figures out this is this magical algorithm that gives you the optimal amount to grow by. And that's it, a tiny little function. So I copied it over to my TS array. And now if you look at this code, this is actually a header file. And I thought, just like with C list, I don't want to put all the code in a header file. And if you look at what they're doing, they're not even using the type anywhere. Everything's bytes. Cast does type. So I had this idea that what I would do is create like a generic with a generic set size that has the same interface size and grow by, and then all of the four elements that it needs to implement the same algorithm exactly. The specified grow amount, the current buffer size, number of elements, and size of each element, and of course the buffer, which I can pass as a p void because they don't care. Now, as far as calling the constructors and the destructors, it won't be able. It doesn't. This thing won't know anything about type, so I just pass in a couple callbacks. Now, this is the part. Okay, here's the thing. And I remember this came up ages and ages ago with something else, and I came up with my own solution to the problem, which was a complicated mess. You see, if you cast, here's the data coming back to me as a pointer to void, and I got to. So this is an array of full objects, not pointers to objects, that have been allocated just as raw bytes. Okay? And I gotta make an object out of that. Okay, so imagine you got this array, which has just, what is it? Put in FD, right? So here, I want to turn this now into one of those objects. It's allocated, and I think, well, how? First I tried allocating an object, mem copying it in, and seeing if maybe that would work. And I got memory leaks, of course, because the memory's already been allocated. I don't want to overwrite my allocated memory with more allocated memory. Somehow, I just want this to get constructed. I want the t's in here to get constructed. Now, normally, to construct an array of things, you say new something of 10. That gives you an array of t's, and the constructors get called. But the problem with that, for something like one of these array things that can grow and shrink and stuff, is that you can't, there's no realloc version of new. You can't say new t 30, and pass in renew, current pointer, and another 30, right? There's just no operator or anything. There's nothing to do. You have to reallocate the entire thing again, right? So if you had let's say a couple 100,000 elements, and you want to add a single element, grow the array by 1, then you have to destroy 100,000 objects and rebuild 100,000 objects plus 1 more. That's no good. So that's why just using malloc and free is the way to go with a resizable array of unknown type objects that have constructors and destructors. Now, first, you can cast them as whatever they are and destroy them in what looks like the natural fashion. Just take the pointer and call the wiggle operator. But this gives you this funny, this gives you this funny error. Oh, it's not selected. Where am I? U text. The error is funny because it has a kind of a comedy element to it. See, T is not a member of T. There's a secret W in here sometimes. I have this here for a special reason, which I can show you in a minute. Okay, now I remembered this. I don't get any problems with this, but I remembered from the past that I had to do something to make it not interpret this as the letter T. Like, if I do this, say, it's funny. You'll see the comedy in a minute. T is not a member of TW string. Now that's referring to this T, not this one. Like, let's see, how can I demonstrate it better? Suppose I made another. See, one of the things I tried was to make another function. Construct T class T type. Okay. And it takes a pointer to a type, I suppose. Or maybe pointer to void. something like that. And then I want to call that function with this, and take that tt and do that. So see, now I got two ways of saying the same thing. I passed this is intrinsically using this t, right? It's passed in, and then a second template argument. It can also be the type. Well, let's see what happens. Or template. This has nothing to do with what I want to teach you, but this humor. Now what? Oh, boy. Missing semicolon before static inline voice construct a T-O. Now this bit. Okay. T, capital T, is not a member of TSW string. Alright. Now let's try putting type here. Because I know that it got TW string right? Right? So it managed to realize that this was a TW string. So therefore this is TW string. Compile again. Now type has lost its meaning, right? And but if I do this, and they're both the same type, T is not a member of, you see, now it got this one right, but it can't do this one. The last one always ends up being interpreted literally. And I somehow in the past, I remember coming across this, and I came up with a really, just like a hack solution. I filled in everything with a special value or something, and I forget. I don't know what I did. But then I looked online, and I looked at what MFC was doing, and it didn't seem to make sense to me because I thought I had already tried using new, and that's obviously wrong. The memory's already been allocated. And then that's when I found out finally what they mean by placement new. It's same as the new operator. Now here's how you have to use it, because normally new is defined, so you got to undefine it. So I can get access to the real new operator. Now the placement new works like this. This can be a pointer to void or a pointer to anything. Doesn't matter. Okay? And the way it works is it does exactly what you wanted it, what I wanted it to do. That is, I want to take this allocated memory and call the constructor. I don't want it to call any allocation function. I just want to invoke that constructor on this data, right? And that's what it does. It's amazing. And I never knew before today that was what that thing did. See? All it does is, this is called a placement new. Construct with placement at where. No calls to any malloc. Okay? Constructor gets called, right? And its default constructor sets the data to 0, makes a correct object. But nothing got allocated. And here's my string, all nicely ready and enabled to be destroyed. It can now be destroyed. I can't copy, like one solution you would think would be to try this. Something like that, right? But see, the left-hand side is garbage, and this is going to call the copy operator, and so it's going to try to destroy this garbage. And I tried that, and of course I got access violations and all these terrible things. Then I zeroed out the memory and it worked, but I wasn't happy with the fact that the memory, that certainly wouldn't be a very good method if there was like a virtual function table in there or something. But anyway, this is not allocating any new data. I have a great big array of entire T objects, and all this does is call a constructor for me on the object. The destructor can be called using the regular arrow. I don't know why. I don't think it's a bug with the compiler. I think it's, according to spec, it's supposed to work that way for some other reason, and it works. I haven't completed making this array thing, but here I am. Can set the element. Unfortunately, since it's just a pointer to void, you can't really see the element. That's just a pointer to the array, I guess. Where's my hello world? Oh, here it is. Hello world. Yeah. Anyway, I can print it out. Okay, those are. It has to be an actual object that can hold on to its data, or else this string would have already destroyed itself. And no memory leak, nothing, and it works. And now I know what placement new is, and so do you. And never ever call a function that has a single flag whose action is to, if it happens to be set to 1, it destroys your computer. That would be, that's a bad function. I don't know who decided that that would be a good way to disable privileges, where a simple typo just wipes everything out. But whoever that person was needs to be brought to trial, and possibly maybe summary execution or hanging or something like that might be a little bit, not extreme enough. Maybe with a torture session, 2 or 3 years of continuous torture might be a suitable punishment. Okay. Well, so this will go on both lists. See you next time.